Lily Lim had been an ordinary businesswoman in the 21st century, living a life that seemed predictable until the man she'd been dating for 4 years chose his career over her. He decided to marry the chairman's daughter, aiming to secure a place in a wealthy family, leaving Lily heartbroken. In an attempt to heal, she went on a trip to the riverside, but fate struck, literally. A bolt of lightning hit her, and when she regained consciousness, she found herself in a completely different world, a world consumed by fear and darkness. Others who traveled through time often ended up meeting handsome men from the past, or so she'd read. But for Lily, she was thrust into a violent, dreadful place. Master Cho's brutal slaughter haunted her dreams, replaying endlessly. Though she'd acquired a strange portable system, it offered no special powers or meaningful abilities, just an empty promise of help. Returning to her old world wasn't an option, and staying in the rundown hut was growing tiresome. She decided it was time to explore and learn more about this bizarre world she now inhabited. One day, as she stepped outside, she grumbled to the sky, "Couldn't the universe at least send some handsome men my way?" Moments later, she heard a noise, something unexpected. Startled, she turned to see a man covered in blood. Was someone chasing him? The system popped up with a mission: save the handsome boy. Failure: detention in beginner's village. Success: random reward. Despite his disheveled state, the man was undeniably handsome. Is he okay? Lily wondered as she knelt beside him. She cleaned his wounds, reasoning that in this strange world, traditional rules about men and women didn't seem to apply. The sight of his muscular frame caught her attention briefly, but she shook the thought aside, focusing on keeping him alive. When he finally awoke, confused and disoriented, Lily explained how she had found him unconscious outside and brought him in. She asked about his wounds, and he introduced himself as Dante Lee. He revealed that he had been poisoned, and the only cure was a rare herb called the single green branch, located in the treacherous Black Wind Valley, known for its poisonous snakes. Determined to help, Lily set off for the valley. After a grueling journey, she finally spotted the eerie green glow Dante had described. Just when she thought her mission was complete, a snake bit her. Panic surged through her veins as she wondered if this was her end. But the sweet scent of the antidote lingered in the air, urging her forward. Would she survive this ordeal, or had she unknowingly sealed her fate? Lily was still trying to wrap her head around what had just happened. Isn't this supposed to be a time travel story? How could they end my story by having me bitten by snakes? She thought, incredulous. As she lay on the ground, her heart pounded as a massive python appeared before her. Was this really it? Would she, Lily Lim, die at the hands of a giant snake in this strange world? For a fleeting moment, she wondered, if I die here, do I get to return to my world? But her thoughts were interrupted by a sharp pain in her head. Am I dead? She wondered, but the reality hit her: she was still in the same strange world. Just then, a figure appeared before her. Who are you? She stammered. A deep voice answered, "Ha! It seems your memory isn't very good. I am the Snake King, North Vesper." A chime rang out in her mind, ding. Please check your gift that has been rewarded. Surprised, Lily thought, is this snake my reward? Can I exchange it for something else? But before she could question further, the Snake King interrupted her rambling. Are you afraid of the one who saved you? Lily blinked in confusion. Saved me? Does that mean this giant snake just rescued me? Her system confirmed that random rewards couldn't be exchanged, followed by a new mission: conquer the Snake King. Failure: death. Success: attain a bodyguard. What kind of mission is this? She thought, panicked. North Vesper, however, wasn't interested in her complaints. You should leave when you're ready. This isn't a place you want to stay. But Lily wasn't about to let him walk away so easily. Wait. At least tell me your name so I can repay you, she called out, thinking quickly. If I can use repayment as an excuse, maybe I can complete my mission by winning him over. Intrigued, the Snake King turned back. Repay me? With what, exactly? Lily, flustered but determined, blurted out, wouldn't it be enough for me to love you with all my heart and soul? Her own thoughts scolded her. Haley, what are you saying? You're just obsessed with men. No, wait, remember, this is for the mission. The Snake King chuckled, amused. Love me with all your heart? Unfortunately for you, I'm the Snake King. Aren't you afraid of snakes? Lily shook her head, resolute. No, I'm not. You're different. You saved me instead of hurting me. I'm not scared of you at all. North Vesper, now even more intrigued, tested her resolve. So, even this is all right with you? He teased, inching closer. Lily's mind raced. Wait, is he talking about physical affection? Is this how I'm supposed to complete the mission? But before she could answer, he laughed. Huh. You've got guts? It was just a joke. You're different from the others I've met. Lily exhaled, relieved yet flustered. A joke? I can't believe I fell for that. Suddenly, she spotted the single green branch, the herb that could save Dante. She rushed forward, determined to take it, but North Vesper grabbed her arm. What do you think you're doing? Are you trying to get yourself killed? Let go. I need to take this herb. Lily insisted, desperate. Don't be foolish, the Snake King said, his voice stern. Didn't you know touching it with bare hands will poison you? Who sent you here to fetch this? Someone trying to get you killed? Lily paused, her voice softening. No one sent me. I came here on my own. Dante warned me about the dangers, but I had no choice. I couldn't stand by and let him die. Seeing her sincerity, North Vesper's tone shifted. You can stop crying. I'll come with you. I might be able to help treat him. Lily's tearful face brightened. Really? But we haven't harvested the herbs yet. How will you treat him? You don't need to risk your life for this. Who do you think I am? I've trained for 1,000 years. A mere herb can't harm me. Lily's eyes widened in realization. So you can touch the single green branch because your poison is stronger than the herbs? Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. Thank you, kind. Before she could finish, North Vesper interrupted. I'm no kind old man. My name is North Vesper. Even demons have names? Lily muttered, taken aback. Silence, snapped North Vesper, leading her forward into their unexpected alliance. Lily burst through the door, her heart racing. Dante! I'm back, she called out. Dante, surprised yet relieved, looked her over. My lady. You're safe, are you all right? He asked, clearly concerned. Lily smiled, brushing off his worry. Oh, come on. I'm fine. I made it back safely, didn't I? She gestured to the man standing beside her. This is North Vesper. He brought the herb for us. Vesper, please start the treatment. Vesper, narrowing his eyes, corrected her. First of all, stop shortening my name to Vesper. It's not funny. Secondly, the poison affecting your friend is called septoxiffusion, a lethal toxin made from 7 different poisons in this world. Dante's eyes widened. He recognized the poison just by looking at me. Who is this man? He thought, trying to understand Vesper's power. Lily, panicking, pleaded with him. But you can treat it, right? Please. We can't let him die. Vesper sighed, glancing at her. Since you're begging so desperately, fine. I'll try to cure him. Lily's face lit up with gratitude. Thank you, Vesper. You're amazing, she exclaimed, only to receive a stern look from him. I'll be treating him in this room, Vesper said firmly, so don't even think about peeking. Lily, flustered, quickly backtracked. I wasn't going to peek. I'll just go prepare a meal or something. Vesper gave a small hiss in warning, and Lily backed away, apologizing again before leaving the room. After some time passed, Vesper emerged, wiping his hands. The treatment is finished. Dante, weak but conscious, managed to sit up. Thank you for saving my life. I, Dante Lee, will never forget this debt. From now on, my life is yours to command. Vesper waved him off. It wasn't me who saved you. I simply fulfilled her request. If you want to thank anyone, thank her. But before you do that, there's a bigger problem waiting for you outside. Just as Vesper finished speaking, a voice called out from outside the house. Dante. Today, we end this battle once and for all. Dante's eyes sharpened, recognizing the voice. So, he's finally come, he muttered, getting to his feet. Lily, hearing the commotion, rushed to the door. What's happening? Why are you fighting? She shouted, only to see 2 figures squaring off outside. Her Highness is here too. Lily thought in disbelief, recognizing the woman standing nearby. As the fight intensified, whispers about Dante's mysterious recovery began to spread. Rumors that the septoxiffusion had been treated, even though it was said to be incurable. The assassins who had targeted the princess were nowhere to be found, and suspicion grew about who could have orchestrated such a feat. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a shadowy figure contemplated the situation. The septoxiffusion can only be treated with the herb single green branch, yet even that herb is more poisonous than the toxin itself. Someone not only treated the poison but also set up a void barrier. Interesting, very interesting. Back at the foot of the South Mountain, Dante's mind was racing. He turned to Lily. Are you sure the one who saved me wasn't a killer? Lily blinked, confused. But you're the royal guard of Banyo Kingdom. If they're after you, doesn't that mean they're going against the entire kingdom? Not necessarily, Dante replied. The assassin who attacked me was trained by Lord Vivian Yoon. As long as he's under Yoon's protection, he has nothing to fear. Lily's eyes widened at the mention of Lord Yoon. So, Vivian Yoon is planning to rise against the Emperor? She whispered, starting to piece things together. The next morning, Lily searched frantically for Dante. Vesper. I can't find him. Where's Dante? He's probably left, Vesper replied casually. He didn't want to drag you into more danger. Lily huffed in frustration. Ungrateful man. After everything I did to save him, he just leaves without a word. Vesper raised an eyebrow. If you miss him so much, why don't you go after him? Lily scowled, crossing her arms. Miss him? I don't care about him. You go after him if you're so concerned. Vesper sighed, glancing at her. Are you feeling homesick? Being a princess, alone in the countryside, must be lonely for you. Lily's voice softened as she turned away. That's not it. She hesitated, then whispered, this place is terrifying. I want to go home. Lily looked into Vesper's eyes, her thoughts racing. His eyes look sad, or was that just me? Could he actually be worried about me? No, that's impossible. He's a snake demon. He couldn't possibly understand human emotions, she told herself. Suddenly, Vesper's voice interrupted her thoughts. Don't move. I want to hear your heart. Lily froze, feeling his presence close to her. Vesper closed his eyes, as if listening intently. I hear the voice of your heart, it speaks of how you miss home. Tell me, what are you afraid of? Lily's breath caught in her throat. How could he know? She wondered. Before she could answer, a voice from her past echoed in her mind, Master Cho. Once this old man decides to save someone, they get saved. There hasn't been a single one I've missed. Master Cho had left her with nothing but a small bell and a promise. Ring this whenever you're in danger, and I shall come to save you immediately. And then, like the wind, he had disappeared from her life, leaving her alone in this wild, dangerous world. How am I supposed to protect myself here? She thought, panic rising in her chest. Everything is so unfamiliar and terrifying. She glanced at Vesper again, trying to shake off her feelings. No matter how warm his eyes look, I shouldn't trust him so easily. As if reading her thoughts, Vesper spoke softly. Then I shall protect you. Lily's heart skipped a beat. Oh no, I'm in trouble. My heart's racing. If this is a dream, I'd like to stay like this a little longer, just to be happy until I wake up. She sighed inwardly. It was supposed to be my mission to win this man over, but it feels like I'm the one who's lost my heart to him. Trying to change the subject, she asked, so, you don't need to train because, you're a snake demon? That's right, Vesper replied calmly, which is why I can protect you. Lily blinked. So, if someone picks a fight with me, you'll fight for me? Vesper gave her a small smile. Of course. If someone dares to challenge you, I will kill them. Before Lily could respond, her eyes caught sight of a group approaching. Look behind you, they don't look friendly. I think they're here with bad intentions. A menacing figure stepped forward, grinning. You're going to kill me? Your dreams are bigger than your skills. The stranger taunted, clearly underestimating Vesper's abilities. But before a fight could break out, the figure barked, stop. She won't live if you don't stop right there. Lily's heart raced as the tension rose. Did I ever mention we'd be fighting one-on-one? The enemy sneered, clearly ready to use dirty tactics. Another voice chimed in, one that sent chills down Lily's spine. I didn't know our dear princess had such talents. Not only did you escape from my assassin, but you also managed to make a master of Ramwal Kingdom your escort. Lily's eyes narrowed in anger. Don't act all friendly calling me our princess. You're the lord who slaughtered innocent people. Why pretend now when it's clear that you only want me dead? The lord's expression hardened. I swear to heaven, everything I do is for the sake of our people. Suddenly, he ordered his men, tie up the princess. Just as the order was given, a loud voice cut through the tension. Halt! Who gave you permission to do that? Lily's blood ran cold. The enemy smirked. The princess has already been poisoned with my frostfire toxin. Every 3 hours, her left side will feel as cold as an ice cave, and her right side will burn like a pit of fire. The only antidote is a potion made from our family's secret herb. He leaned in, his voice dripping with malice. Will you be able to watch someone you care about suffer through that kind of pain? What do you say? May I take the princess now? Suddenly, a bell chimed in Lily's mind. Ding! A new mission has arrived, conquer Lord Vivian Yoon. The mission flashed before her, upon success, you will attain the title of princess. Upon failure, you will live the life of a fugitive. Lily's heart sank. Conquer him? I should be grateful I haven't been killed yet. In the backyard of Yoon Pavilion, Haley found herself in a tense situation. Struggling against her captor, she yelled, let go. You shameless jerk. Lord Yoon smirked at her words. Shameless? Look at yourself, princess. You're turning away from the lives of your own people, only thinking about yourself. If you keep avoiding peace with your neighbors, you'll be giving Ramwal the perfect excuse to start a war. And since you've met with Dante, that traitor, right under our noses, you could be seen as a traitor yourself. So, who's really the shameless one now? Haley scoffed. Seems like you've got bad eyes, Lord Yoon. First, you mistook me for the princess of Banyo Kingdom, and now you're accusing Dante of being a mole. Is this how you justify killing innocent people? Yoon crossed his arms, his expression unchanged. So, are you asking me to pretend you're not the princess and form an alliance? You might fool others, but not me. With frustration boiling over, Haley replied, do you really think so little of me? Yoon gestured towards a mirror. Look at yourself, Hannah Bong. Tell me, does this face belong to a regular civilian? You truly think this peerless beauty could be just anyone? Haley looked into the mirror, her breath catching. This lady, what? Where did my face go? Did I really die from that lightning strike? Yoon's voice pulled her out of her shock. What's wrong? Mesmerized by your own beauty? Or are you thinking of new lies to avoid keeping peace? No. Haley shouted. This isn't me. I'm not a princess. My name is Haley Lim. Yoon sighed. It doesn't matter if you're Haley Lim or Hannah Bong. I need you. I'll use you to bring peace to Banyo Kingdom. Turning to his men, he commanded, take care of the princess. If anyone tries to escape their duties, kill them. Haley felt her heart sink. Have I really become a princess? Am I really about to be married to someone I don't even know? Does this mean I can never go back to being Haley Lim? Suddenly, a loud cry broke through her thoughts. A demon. Help! It's a demon. Startled, Haley turned to see Vesper approaching. Relief washed over her. Vesper. You came. I knew you wouldn't abandon me. Vesper, ever calm, simply said, hush now. I've come to save you. Then, Haley noticed something strange. Kia. Why are you naked? Vesper blinked, unfazed. Oh, I just finished molting. Despite the tension, Haley's thoughts betrayed her. Wow. Vesper is actually really handsome. I barely peeked, but he's got a great body. Stop. What's wrong with you, Haley? She mentally scolded herself. What's the matter? Vesper asked, noticing her red face. Feeling hot? Why not take your clothes off then? Kia. You're such a beast. Haley shrieked. Vesper chuckled. A beast? I'm a 1,000-year-old snake demon. Surely, you know better than to compare me to a mere beast. Perhaps something closer to a perverted snake would be more accurate. Just then, the sound of footsteps approached. Someone's coming, Vesper whispered. Hide here. I'll try to send them away. As they hid, Haley recognized the voice. That's Vivian Yoon, she gasped. He must think you've come to take me. Lord Yoon stormed into the room, his face filled with anger. My apologies for barging in, princess. The demon has infiltrated the palace and knocked out 2 guards. I was worried for your safety. Haley stood firm. What demon? I was simply resting, and I heard nothing. And for the last time, I am not a princess. Yoon narrowed his eyes. Still refusing to admit it, huh? One of Yoon's men, Manhwa, handed him a glowing orb. My lord, calm down. Using the dual orb will drain your powers for a week. Ignoring him, Yoon replied coldly, since when were you allowed to talk back at me? Bring the orb. Manhwa obediently handed it over, and Yoon continued. This orb can distinguish truth from lies. Blue for truth, red for lies. So, let's try this again. Who are you, really? Haley glared at him. 10 times or 1,000 times, my answer won't change. Suddenly, they heard shouting outside. A person? Move out of the way, or we'll crash. Moments later, a loud thud shook the ground. Haley and Vesper exchanged a look. Thank goodness, Haley thought, you're not dead. A guard burst in. Sir, the princess has escaped. Haley caught in a whirlwind of confusion and tension. When someone mistakes her for a princess, she immediately denies it, explaining that she is just an ordinary person who ended up there by accident. Despite her claims, the person she is speaking to seems to understand that her situation is far more complicated than she's letting on. Grateful for Haley saving them, they promise to repay the favor, even jokingly offering to be struck by lightning if they're lying. Vivian Yoon, who continues to hold power over the situation, commands his subordinate, Manhwa, to cure her. After examining her, Manhwa confirms that Haley is indeed not the princess, but orders her to keep that to herself. She is to continue pretending to be the princess and prepare for marriage. This bizarre logic leaves Haley frustrated, questioning why she's being forced into a role she never asked for. Manhwa also reveals that Haley has been poisoned with a rare toxin known as the Soul Chaser. This poison, typically used by the Waliang clan, allows someone to track her, and it's known for its connection to the Ramwal Kingdom's royal family. Haley, although furious at her situation, remains defiant, trying to understand the full scope of the dangerous game being played around her. Meanwhile, back in Ramwal Kingdom, Emperor Ramwu is celebrating the news that Princess Bong has fled the royal kingdom, leaving Banjo Kingdom in a vulnerable state. He, along with his bodyguard Dante, discusses the brewing conflicts and the political ramifications of the princess's disappearance. Dante, while loyal to the emperor, finds himself entangled in a personal conflict. He admits that Princess Bong had saved him when he was poisoned, yet he still betrayed her, making him feel like a despicable person. The emperor is intrigued by the idea of the princess and plans to travel to Banjo Kingdom in 3 days to see her for himself. But jealousy stirs in the heart of Princess Sulbai, who harbors resentment towards the princess for capturing the emperor's attention. Back in the present, Haley wrestles with the gravity of her predicament. As much as Vesper, her snake demon companion, urges her to flee, she decides to stay. She wants to uncover the truth behind her strange connection to this world and the real princess. Most importantly, she needs to complete the mission given to her by the system, or she'll be forced to live life as a fugitive. Vesper, loyal as ever, promises to stay by her side no matter what, even agreeing to do anything she asks. Haley, trying to lighten the mood, playfully tickles him, to which he responds by warning her not to take things too far, hinting that she might end up unable to get out of bed if she messes with him. Flustered and embarrassed by the exchange, Haley calls Vesper a perverted snake, while Vesper awkwardly tries to escape the situation. As he runs away, Haley can't help but think about how strange it is that a powerful demon is pretending to be innocent after all this. However, as he flees, Vesper seems affected by their brief kiss, feeling his body heat up unexpectedly. Haley being abruptly awakened by a servant, urging her to clean up and get dressed. A new dress has been prepared for her, a gift from Lord Vivian Yoon, but Haley is suspicious. She knows he wouldn't show her this much kindness without a hidden agenda, so she confronts him, demanding to know what he's planning. Vivian Yoon doesn't deny her accusations. Instead, he reveals his intentions clearly. Haley, posing as the princess, is to marry Emperor Ramwu of Ramwal Kingdom. If she refuses, he warns that he'll have to kill her and blame her death on the inability to maintain peace between their kingdoms. Haley is outraged by the manipulation, calling out how sending her as a sacrificial pawn won't solve anything. She questions why they believe sacrificing women like her would save their country. Despite her defiance, Vivian remains pragmatic. He argues that sending her as a bride could at least delay an inevitable war, giving their kingdom some time. He acknowledges the dire situation their kingdom is in, pointing out that internal conflicts and corruption are causing its downfall. Haley, not willing to back down, criticizes his lack of strategy, accusing him of only thinking about short-term solutions rather than long-term prosperity. Vivian, though surprised by Haley's sharp insight, admits that she is not the real princess but still believes in using her to secure an alliance. The conversation shifts as he contemplates how he would have ruled differently, by removing corrupt officials, strengthening agriculture, and relocating the military to protect their borders. Haley, seeing potential in his ideas, suggests a plan that could help stabilize their kingdom. She also tries to use this moment to get information about the real princess, offering to make a deal if Vivian tells her what happened to her. Vivian reveals that the real princess had refused orders and fled the palace. He had sent men after her, but they never returned, and he hasn't heard anything about her since. Haley is left wondering if those who attacked her were connected to the princess's disappearance. Suddenly, a warning from the system blares in her mind, alerting her that she's uncovered a major secret. A countdown begins. She has 100 days left until death unless she can resolve the situation. Furious at the system's unfairness, she laments how it never gives her any special powers but now adds this deadly time limit. Vesper, who had been watching over her, grows concerned when Haley suddenly collapses. He rushes to her side, panicked, and when she awakens, he's so relieved that he impulsively kisses her. Startled by the sudden intimacy, Haley blushes, still feeling the warmth of his lips long after the moment passes. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the palace, the urgency of another situation arises. Ladyship is about to give birth, and Alice, a court lady from Bayek Palace, rushes to summon the emperor. Despite the urgency, there's hesitation as the situation disrupts other plans and moments. However, the message is eventually passed along, and preparations are made for the emperor to attend to the birth. A messenger informs a high-ranking official that His Majesty is needed at Bayek Palace. The official dismisses the messenger's suggestion, asserting that a mere court lady has no right to meddle in his affairs. Angered, he orders her to be taken away. Meanwhile, Vivian Yoon appears troubled after losing another game, expressing his dissatisfaction with himself. He recalls his father's advice to always prioritize the kingdom and its people. The thought of his sister being sent away as a tribute gnaws at him, and he laments how his decision has given Ramwal Kingdom an opportunity to challenge them. Jenny, a loyal confidant, reassures him, insisting that he is not to blame. She reminds him that everyone has flaws and that a leader who cannot protect their own family cannot be expected to safeguard the citizens either. She views him as the most marvelous man in the world. In a sudden realization, Vivian connects the dots. The princess he released could be the same woman he met at the foot of Nam Mountain. Just then, a guard enters, apologizing for the late intrusion but insisting he has urgent news. With permission granted, the guard reports having tracked down the princess and discovered she is imprisoned by Lord Vivian Yoon. At Bayek Palace, the atmosphere is celebratory as a baby is born. A lady eagerly announces the arrival of a boy, but Lady Jade expresses her frustration that His Majesty has not shown up during this momentous occasion. She blames herself, feeling responsible for His Majesty's absence, but another lady reassures her that it's not her fault. Meanwhile, a sense of bitterness fills the air as Lady Jade ponders how the king's actions have caused her distress. Despite her struggles, she finds solace in the belief that every dark cloud has a silver lining. Realizing she has only 100 days left to live, she resolves to find a way back to her own world before her time runs out. Drawing from typical time travel stories, she recalls that characters often return home through significant events. Desperate, Haley Lim contemplates a daring plan. If she fell off a cliff to arrive here, perhaps she could use the same method to go back. However, as she tries to replicate the experience, she realizes it is more painful than expected and wonders why she isn't returning. She pleads with the system for help, feeling a mix of hope and despair. Chaos ensues as a voice calls out to the princess, desperately urging her not to die. Concerned attendants rush to her side, questioning why she jumped into the pond and expressing their worry for her safety. Vesper, the one she had been thinking of, has disappeared without a trace after kissing her and running away, leaving her bewildered about his sudden behavior. Vesper reflects on how living with Haley has disrupted his spiritual powers, fearing that he may lose them altogether and revert to being an ordinary snake. Although he is not afraid of losing his abilities, he worries about being unable to protect her. Meanwhile, Lord Yoon is summoned, and he is confronted about the princess's whereabouts. He explains that she wishes to stay at his home and explore the beautiful landscapes surrounding it before marrying Emperor Ramwoo. This raises suspicions. The characters wonder if Yoon has ulterior motives or is threatening the princess with the alliance. Vivian Yoon reacts with indignation, believing Yoon is trying to keep him from seeing his own sister. Lord Yoon assures him that if the intention is to see the princess, he will send for her immediately. Vivian decides to wait by the Bangwang Pond for her arrival. After the court meeting, Vivian contemplates how he can eliminate Yoon while plans unfold to stoke the tensions between their kingdoms. Meanwhile, the princess learns about the morning's events from Lord Yoon and realizes that he knows she is not the true princess. She reflects on how her escape from the alliance was orchestrated by the emperor, leading to her current predicament. Hannah expresses her regret over the princess's situation, feeling responsible for her capture by Yoon. The princess is surprised by the emperor's considerate nature, contrasting her expectations of cold-hearted rulers. She declares that she returned voluntarily, recognizing her responsibilities as a princess. Despite the circumstances, she resolves not to flee, knowing that it could lead to war and the loss of innocent lives. Vivian shares his distress at seeing her forced into an unwanted marriage, but the princess assures him that she is all right. The emperor, concerned for his sister's happiness, is unaware that she must still marry Ramwoo. The princess considers the possibility that Brian Bong, whom she met, may not be a bad fit for the throne. While he may not possess ruthlessness, he seems to embody loyalty and affection, making her plans easier. As she reflects, Vesper interrupts, noticing her lost expression and teasingly questioning whether she is thinking of another man. Startled, she denies it, leading to a light-hearted exchange where Vesper confronts her about his earlier kiss and their complicated relationship. Despite her desire to stay close to him, Vesper reveals that he must distance himself to protect his training and powers, leaving him torn between his feelings and his responsibilities. As the conversation becomes tense, Haley pleads with him, and Vesper insists that she should appreciate his attention, creating an air of uncertainty about their future together. A confrontation arises as one character taunts another, suggesting that if they believe they cannot handle a situation, they should just hand the girl over. The other party, fueled by anger, insists that they will prove their capabilities and demands to know who dares to interrupt. The response is a playful challenge, promising not to harm the girl if the instigator entertains them instead. Tension escalates when one character is punched, leading to threats of violence. Another character intervenes, pleading for mercy, revealing that the person under threat is the eldest son of a senior officer, Sir Sang. They warn that killing him would cause significant trouble not just for the assailant but for the inn as well. As the characters discuss Sir Sang's importance, one of them boldly claims to be Hannah Bong, the princess of Banyo Kingdom. This revelation stuns those present, and a request for confirmation of her identity is swiftly met with affirmation. The atmosphere shifts as the princess seeks a sword, and a stranger offers their own, knowing it will likely be used for violence. Despite a friendly demeanor, the princess remains wary of the stranger's intentions. Meanwhile, Vesper steps in, determined to prevent any escape. As accusations fly and blame is exchanged, one character named Moon Ram proposes a drink as an apology, attempting to ease the tension. He describes a unique liquor made from pear blossoms, aged for 3 years, claiming it won't intoxicate the drinker no matter how much they consume. Hannah agrees to the offer, and they toast to forget their earlier conflict. However, when she sips the drink, she quickly begins to feel dizzy, prompting concerns from her companions. As confusion unfolds, Vesper realizes they have been tricked and vows revenge on the perpetrator. Despite the chaos, he focuses on helping Hannah recover from the effects of the liquor, while a lurking enemy observes the scene with interest. The observer notes the skilled master serving another and hints at personal feelings at play, contemplating their own ambitions regarding the princess and her kingdom. Just 3 days had passed since the princess had been captured, yet His Majesty was already informed. Questions swirled in the captor's mind. Where was the leak? Was there a mole among his ranks? Or was he being watched? Mua assured his lord that the soldiers accompanying him were loyal henchmen. He declared that he would never betray him, even at the cost of his life. Suddenly, a commotion erupted as someone rushed in, exclaiming that Haley had fainted. The urgency of the situation demanded swift action. They quickly laid her down and checked her pulse. It became evident that she had been poisoned with the Dreamer's Toxin. The Dreamer's Toxin was a powerful magical potion that plunged its victims into an endless cycle of sleep and dreams. It created a false reality, making it impossible for those affected to awaken. Without treatment, the toxin would render the victim comatose, unable to move for the rest of their life. The gravity of the situation struck everyone. Was Haley doomed to live like this? Determined to find a solution, they realized they needed to treat the poison. However, Moa revealed that he could not cure it. This revelation left the Lord incredulous. How could such a poison exist without a remedy? Moa explained that the only cure was the soul's elixir, a legendary substance known to heal any poison and revive anyone on the brink of death. Unfortunately, only 3 of these elixirs were known to exist. One had been given by the late emperor to his empress, another was stored in the palace vault, and the whereabouts of the last remained a mystery. Moa was at a loss for how they could save Haley under such circumstances. The Lord then surprised everyone by stating that he actually possessed a soul's elixir, hidden in a secret drawer in his library. He instructed Moa to retrieve it and save Haley. Moa was astonished, recognizing the elixir as a rare treasure that offered a second chance at life. He questioned the Lord's compassion for Haley, who seemed unworthy of such mercy. The Lord, however, reprimanded Moa for speaking too freely and shifted the conversation towards matters of the kingdom. With all due respect, one advisor suggested that the crown prince should be appointed to ensure the stability of the country. He noted that Sir Leon Jia was making such suggestions, particularly now that Lady Jade had given birth to a prince. The Lord, only 20 years old, expressed his reluctance to discuss successors so soon, questioning whether they wished for him to die. The advisor insisted that appointing a crown prince was vital for the kingdom's stability. He urged the young lord to take an empress and position the prince as his successor so that he could begin his education. Sir Jia then made a bold suggestion that Lady Jade should be made empress and his grandson appointed crown prince, prompting outrage among the other members of the council. Accusations of ulterior motives began to fly, especially regarding Lady Genevieve, who was rumored to be Lord Vivian Yoon's illegitimate sister. Some questioned whether Lord Yoon aimed to elevate her to empress. The tension escalated as reminders were made about Lady Genevieve's vow upon entering the palace not to seek a position in the court. It was suggested that disturbing the royal bloodline in this manner was a grave offense. The Lord, realizing the implications of these discussions, took a firm stand against any attempt to undermine the royal lineage. He declared that he would handle the matters concerning the Empress and Crown Prince personally and demanded that such topics not be brought up again. The meeting took an urgent turn when more news arrived, signaling a fresh crisis that would demand the Lord's immediate attention. The Lord's voice thundered in the chamber, filled with indignation. How dare you attempt to disrupt the royal bloodline through your younger sister, a mere offspring of a concubine? Do you realize the magnitude of this crime? Enough. I am not dead yet, and I will personally handle matters concerning the Empress and Crown Prince. Do not bring this up again. As the meeting continued, an urgent voice called out, interrupting. My lord. I come with urgent news. The Wolf Knights of the Cheon Kingdom have attacked the Zaok Pavilion, bringing with them 5,000 tigers and wolves. Shock rippled through the room. The Lord had believed he had contained all news about the war around the Zaok Pavilion. How could they know about it? Were they waiting for an opportunity during this meeting? But another voice reassured him. You need not worry, Your Majesty. General Jean has led 3,000 of his elite troops into battle. Not only did he drive them from our territory, but he also seized the bordering city of Sinwal in the Cheon Kingdom. Relief washed over the Lord. That's great. We finally taught them a lesson. Well done indeed. Yet doubts lingered. Are you sure this information is reliable? He seems to know the exact situation and troop numbers. Is he hiding something? Vivian Yoon, one of the council members, contemplated his actions. I shall soon repay that debt. But why was I not informed of such important news until now? The Lord turned to him, a mix of frustration and concern evident. You are correct, Your Majesty. General Jean should have reported the situation before heading into battle. Another advisor chimed in, criticizing General Jean. He has used the war situation as an excuse to mobilize the army as if it were his own. While he has achieved victory, his actions should not be overlooked and must be punished. For 20 years, we have been unable to defeat the Cheon Kingdom due to its might. We have finally claimed victory, but must I really punish the general for his actions? If I don't, it would be like allowing others to challenge the emperor. We managed to invade Sinwal City this time, but who knows when they will attack our mainland again. The Lord's decision came swiftly. Go arrest General Jean and bring him to me. I will interrogate him personally. My lord. Please punish me for my shortcomings, another advisor pleaded, stepping forward. Why should you be punished? The Lord asked, confused. The advisor explained. When the Cheon Kingdom invaded our territory, General Jean informed me through his messenger troops. I feared that if I reported this to the higher-ups, we would lose the opportunity for victory due to endless arguing. So, I took the initiative to order the deployment myself. Lord Yoon, it doesn't change the fact that you have deceived His Majesty the Emperor. Why do you bother explaining so zealously? Another council member countered. Vivian Yoon persisted. After our glorious victory and the occupation of Sinwal City, I thought to report it to you immediately, Your Majesty, but I believed it best to wait a little longer before speaking up. The Lord acknowledged the urgency of the situation, recognizing that Lord Yoon acted without consent. But the invasion of Sinwal City should be a reason for celebration. Why hide the truth? Were you perhaps planning to use it as a training ground for your private army? The tension rose as Sir Ja spoke up. Let me ask you this, once you learned that General Jean successfully seized Sinwal City, what would you have done? Exterminate everyone living there, or collect taxes? That is precisely why I kept this a secret. Yoon replied. If our country commits a massacre after occupying a city, we will lose the trust of our people. If we impose harsh taxes, we will make their lives even more miserable. He continued, all we've gained is a small city at the border. Instead of imposing cruel policies, I believed we should give them time to stabilize their lives. True possession of Sinwal will only be realized if the hearts of its people align with us for centuries to come. The tension in the room was palpable as accusations flew. Nonsense. It seems you're just trying to devise excuses to evade your punishment, one official exclaimed. Another interjected, no, Lord Yoon's reasoning is sound. I understand his perspective. Lord Yoon addressed the emperor, confessing, Your Majesty, I have deceived you regarding our victory. I am ready to accept my punishment for this behavior. However, I must express that I have no regrets about my choice. The atmosphere grew more charged. Are you claiming it was justifiable to deceive His Majesty? How dare you look down on him in such a way? Another official replied, anger flaring. It was only General Jean today, but who knows if all the generals from the 36 castles of the Banyo Kingdom will side with Lord Yoon's decisions tomorrow. Are you, Lord Yoon, perhaps seeking rebellion? One advisor asked sharply. Another voice chimed in, Your Majesty, I agree that Lord Yoon's actions should not be dismissed lightly. He has committed a serious offense. Please consider an appropriate punishment. The emperor's gaze hardened. Sir Sang, have you consulted all the court officials beforehand? Your Majesty, all I present to this court are my wishes for your well-being. I haven't fully gathered my thoughts yet. We will revisit this issue tomorrow. You may all leave now. Lord Yoon, you may stay behind, the emperor commanded. He continued, since you are Jenny's brother, I will consider you part of my family, you will become my brother-in-law. Vivian Yoon looked taken aback. What are you trying to do, Your Majesty? The atmosphere shifted abruptly. Your Majesty, the princess has been poisoned, someone cried out. What? Who poisoned her? The emperor demanded, his concern palpable. From my investigation, it appears the new emperor of Ramwal secretly used this poison on her. He must have infiltrated the capital. Additionally, the Cheon Kingdom is breaching our borders. Your Majesty, do you understand what they are trying to achieve with this move? Another advisor asked urgently. Why does that matter? We must find a way to stop them. Besides, I have you here. What is there to worry about? the emperor replied confidently. If that is what your majesty believes, then I feel relieved. I will take my leave, the advisor said before exiting. The emperor's thoughts turned grim. Only a few knew about the battle at the Zaok Pavilion, and even fewer were aware of the number of elite troops dispatched. It became evident to him that there was a traitor among them. How dare they set foot in my domain, he fumed. If this powder gets on someone's body, it'll leave a distinctive scent, he added, formulating a plan. My lord, did you summon me? An aide asked. Keep a close watch on the library and uncover who is behind this treachery, the emperor ordered. Yes, my lord, the aide replied before leaving. Your majesty. Come and join me for tea, another official suggested, hoping to lighten the mood. Jenny, the emperor began, his brow furrowed with concern. Your majesty, is something troubling you? She asked, noticing his unease. Are you satisfied with your life at present? He inquired further. Being able to serve by your side brings me more happiness than ever. Jenny replied enthusiastically. What kind of person do you believe your brother is? Is someone trying to harm my brother again? She asked anxiously. To me, he is a man who loves his family and always strives for the best for our country. Vivian has never looked down on me just because I'm the daughter of a mere concubine. Forgive me, my lady, but His Majesty has made it clear he will not see anyone, an attendant interrupted. A couple of years ago, when he faced false charges that nearly landed him in prison, he was concerned I might be implicated and refused to see me until things improved. Don't push yourself to win His Majesty's favor, always remember to protect yourself. Jenny, did you enter the palace for him? The emperor asked. I could never deceive you, your majesty. Yes, that is true, she admitted. But my love for you has never been a lie. Please don't doubt that. Your majesty, my brother has never accepted my offers to help him, not once. Please trust in his loyalty to you, she implored. I see you are not foolish, he remarked. It is never easy for members of noble families to become attached and loving towards one another. Yet, how are you two so close? There could be no better elder brother than mine, Jenny responded warmly. Then what kind of man do you think I would be to you? He asked, his tone softening. You take the time to see me even amidst your busy schedule. I am already grateful for your love, your majesty. But one day, when my power fades away, will you still remain by my side? She asked, her voice tinged with longing. Oh, how I wish you were not the emperor. Sir, this is the letter Lord Yun will be sending to General Jean. Please take a look, an aide said, interrupting their moment. If he tries to send it off, you must intercept it. I ended up helping that Simon sang last time. Don't worry, sir. There won't be any more mistakes, the aide assured him. Since Vivian Yoon is gaining power every day, we should also strengthen our troops quickly. Put this letter back where it was and hide quietly. Yes, sir, the aide replied, following orders. This lad hasn't tasted human blood for a long time, the emperor murmured ominously. Meanwhile, in the garden of Kion Pavilion, someone commented, Wow, your eyes shine even brighter than the stars in the sky, Vesper. Do you like it? Vesper asked, smiling. It's late, you should get some sleep, another voice urged. Suddenly, the emperor's thoughts turned turbulent. What is he trying to pull now? I keep revealing my feelings so easily in front of this woman. At this rate, I'll lose my power even more quickly, he thought, frustration mounting. My lord, forgive me for my incompetence. The bastard has bitten his tongue and committed suicide. He was one of Sir Leon Jaw's men, and they appear to have been training their own army recently, an aide reported, bringing grave news. Come in, the emperor called out. As the door opened, the figure stepped forward, gratitude evident in their eyes. When I was poisoned with the dreamer's toxin, I heard you revive me with that precious, one and only soul's elixir. Thank you so much, my lord. Is that all you're going to do, thank me with words? He replied, a teasing smile on his lips. How would you like to repay me? I'll let you do whatever you can. Grind the ink stick for me, he requested casually. Pardon. The response was a mix of surprise and confusion. He really just wants me to grind his ink? I expected something much more complicated. Does he have something else in mind? Repay me? I'll figure out what you're truly after, he continued, his tone shifting. Are you trying to steal military information from Sir Leon Jaw's men or Sir Simon Sang's? No, no. Of course not. Don't accuse me like that, the captive protested defensively. Of course not? Then why have you come here? He pressed, his grip tightening. Let go. It hurts, the captive whimpered. It just caught my eye, that's all. I'm merely your captive. What could I possibly do? Actually, it's me who wants to ask you, why do you keep touching me so rashly? What are you thinking? Huh. Anyway, you shouldn't get any funny ideas. If you're up to something, I suggest you give it up. What will you do if I actually am up to something? They challenged. Can't, right? I've been so generous, and now you're stepping out of line, he retorted. Ack. Stop it, you pervert, they exclaimed, exasperated. You're speaking nonsense. Get up. Or are you expecting me to help you up? Ugh, this is so embarrassing. In shows, the guy usually kisses the girl in scenes like this, he muttered, the tension palpable. Do you still want me to believe that you have no other intentions? She asked, skepticism evident in her tone. What if your intentions and my intentions align? He countered. What do you mean? She asked, intrigued. Think about it. I won't be able to interfere between you and Sir Ja. But you want to get rid of that wicked officer, Sir Sang, and I want to eliminate his spoiled son. Doesn't that mean we have a common goal? So, you're asking for my help to deal with the powerful Sir Simon Sang, are you? Cheap tricks, she shot back, though a glimmer of admiration sparkled in her eyes. How bright you are, my lord. You caught on quickly, he praised her. We'll gather evidence of Sir Sang's crimes and reveal them during the court meeting. If not death, we'll at least be able to confiscate his powers. How's that? Easy for you to say. Thanks to the rivalry between Sir Sang and Sir Ja in court, the two of them are currently balancing each other's power. If we eliminate Sir Sang, we'll only disrupt that balance and give Sir Ja more authority. But Sir Ja will be easy to control, he insisted. Why is that? She asked, curious. Because Sir Ja wishes to make his own daughter the empress and his grandson the crown prince. But there's no way the emperor will allow that. But if I persuade his majesty to abdicate the throne to you, and you promise Sir Ja that his grandson will become the crown prince, he'll likely support our plan, he concluded, his strategy taking shape. What do you think of my plan, my lord? His majesty will give his throne to me? Are you joking? He questioned, disbelief evident in his tone. The emperor could live happily ever after with Jenny, Sir Ja could have his own grandson as crown prince, and you could rule this country the way you wanted. Everyone would get what they wanted. Wouldn't it all make sense? She explained. You speak as if it's an easy task. His majesty stepping down from his throne? That's impossible, he retorted. My lord, what if I could persuade the emperor? She proposed confidently. How can you be so certain? You're not even the real princess, he pointed out skeptically. Excuse me, no one knows that except for you, my lord, she replied, frustration creeping into her voice. So? Are we joining hands or not? She pressed. If you can persuade his majesty, then there's no reason for me not to. In fact, I'll grant you anything you wish, he declared, his tone shifting to one of determination. No backing out now. Promise me. Don't be silly. You call this silly? An alliance should be followed by a proper ritual, you know. Or are you already preparing your way out of this? We'll do it with a high five instead. Conquering Lord Yun, step one accomplished, she exclaimed with a grin. Come on. Let's go celebrate this with something nice to eat. If only you weren't a princess, he mused, considering the implications. My lord, she interrupted. Now that I think about it, it's such a lovely world here. All the men are handsome, you know, ahem. What are you doing? He asked, raising an eyebrow. Want a sip? It'll be good, she offered playfully. You want me to eat this? Are you planning to poison me and run away? He countered, a hint of suspicion in his voice. Just leave if you don't want it. I'm going to eat by myself, she said defiantly. MMH? TCH, it's a shame I couldn't have a taste of that Prince Charming, but this tastes even better with that handsome face right next to me, she joked, looking at him. Since you've shown me there's no poison in the food, I shall take a bowl too, he relented, joining her. Don't make such a big deal out of this, she stammered, flustered. Oh? It looked simple, but it tastes quite good, he remarked, impressed. She's a smart lady with some skills too. You finished it all? Why didn't you leave me any? She exclaimed, surprised. You should think of it as an honor to serve food to me, he replied, a teasing smile on his lips. Since it seems you've enjoyed the meal, why don't we discuss some important matters now, she suggested, shifting the conversation. My lord, why do you think Banyo and Ramwal need to form an alliance? She asked. While Ramwal is a kingdom with a powerful military, Banyo's armed forces are weak and suffering from food shortages due to the prolonged drought. If the two kingdoms go to war, there's almost no chance of us winning. An alliance isn't just an option, we need it, he explained. Then, if we can strengthen our country, you wouldn't want that alliance too, right, my lord? She queried. If our nation hadn't deteriorated so quickly, I would have gone to the front lines of war myself. How could I rely on a woman like you to bring peace? He stated firmly. Those words are just enough for me. If you're willing to trust me, I'll help you bring peace to this country, she declared passionately. My lord, there seems to be a problem in the interrogation room, a guard reported urgently. Let's go, he ordered. Wait, I'll come with you, she insisted. Stay here. It's a place filled with cries of blood. It's no place for you, he warned. Silly girl, you seem lost in thought. What are you thinking? He asked, noticing her distraction. Vesper, I'm trying to do something, but it might be the wrong thing to do. But if I don't do it, it might eventually cause a big problem, she admitted, conflicted. Well, if it will cause some ruckus either way, I think you should do what you want, he replied. Are you willing to trust me without any reason? She pressed. Maybe, he replied, uncertainty flickering in his eyes.